Switching gears now, India, long known as the world's most dominant BPO destination, has just seen its largest employment drop in 7 years, while its IT sector saw its second year of rising unemployment. Now, as the industry adjusts to changing expectations and demands, new regions are emerging. There's the Philippines, of course. Then there's Vietnam, emerging as a powerful outsourcing hub, the small but mighty outsourcing powerhouse in Asia Pacific. Vietnam. The Philippine IT-BPO industry saw slower growth last year. Could this be it? The end of our reign? Joining us this morning, Jojo Uligan, Contact Center Association of the Philippines. President Jojo, thank you so much for joining us. So let's start with, I know you have an annual conference. You've been doing it for 14 years, and you call it Contact Islands. You renamed it 3-4 years ago, and it's a fitting and witty name. Because the Philippines, of course, this is our expertise, and we are an island country. What are the chances that another country will steal this reputation from us? Maybe like Vietnam.
Because of the requirements of the customers, right? Primarily English, and it's, I think, one of our advantage, right? There's a lot of Filipinos who speak English, so unless we lose that capability of, there's less Filipinos can speak English, then we could, probably lose it, right? But then again, more and more Filipinos can speak the English language. That's an advantage. So there.
But it's not just about call centers now, right?
No. It's also about not just the ability to speak the English language, but more technical skills, right? Knowledge on technology, the recent one that's being introduced, right, in the market, and we've seen that. Our customers, their behavior, they're investing on technology as well when it comes to the business model. So you'll have companies like in the retail space offering more online capabilities. Fast food companies, you can just order at home, or when you go to their stores, they have their own machines, right? So it's all about the information of the customer being available fast, right? And the way the service will be delivered at their own preferred platform. So there are several platforms customers.
And our workforce can do that.
And our workforce can do that.
In fact, contrary to what most people think, that Filipinos are really into the low-skill value chain, you're saying that's not the case.
No. 85% of what we do in the BPO space is mid to high-level skill set. So from level 1, so it's not just about customer service, but we have people who support a user of their computer that they purchased or appliances, while asking for support on how to operate it, how to make adjustment. A lot of those level 1, level 2, and level 3 support will do.
So I wanted to go back to Vietnam because Vietnam seems to be at least the early big winner of the U.S.-China trade war. I mean, the first quarter of this year, the imports from Vietnam for the U.S. actually jumped 40%, picking up the slack from China, and followed by India and France at 16% each. The Philippines is nowhere there. A lot of investors seem to be flocking to Vietnam now for manufacturing, but you're saying that's not the case for the BPO sector.
Yeah, the BPO, because of the requirements, there's about, Everest did a study, it's about 81, 83 billion, and the Philippines still getting about 16 to 18% of that business. So there's so much opportunity for us. So if ever there's another country who develop capabilities for BPO, for example, there's so much for everyone, right? So we're only getting less than 20% of that. So we're targeting if we can get 30% to 50% of that, there's still 50% for other countries, right? So we have our own capabilities, we have our own niche. I'm sure the other countries, our neighbors in the Asia, like Singapore, Malaysia, also, or Vietnam for that matter, can develop their own special capabilities.
Do you think that 16 to 18% of the pie, that's what we're getting, that we can get a bigger bite out of the pie, considering that your industry is slowing? Because in 2017, according to government data, your industry grew about 13%. In 2018, you grew about
7-8%.
7-8%. This year, are you going to do better or a little bit slower?
So the story here, the industry is continuing to grow, right? But it's slowed down because a lot of factors. One factor is the base getting bigger. That's why that's the.
Of course,
the
it's harder to
percentage.
grow in percentage when you're
Correct.
bigger.
When you're
Okay.
big, right?
Okay.
Our base is at 1.2 billion total BPO industry,
Mm-hmm.
right? 1.2 million. The contact center is about 800,000. We wanted to hit 1 million by 2022.
Okay. But aside from the high base effect, what are the other factors that you think are holding you back?
Okay, so for one, the change in the behavior, the business model of our
Okay.
clients. So some of our customers are investing on technology, right? So and when they invest on technology, it takes time for them to be able to develop everything, process, all those things, and they need to learn and understand, right, how they will do business. Then, of course, there are clients who also wanted to see, okay, what's the atmosphere, if we're going to grow in the Philippines as much, how's the regulation, do you have the right workers with the right skill set, because the requirements of the customer nowadays is different compared to 3-5 years ago.
Of course.
So that we need time to develop, right?
But what about the regulations? What are the problem areas in the regulations part?
In the regulation, I think it's more of the uncertainty, because investors don't want what's going to happen next. There's this pending bill, right? So on
Pending bill on?
and pending bill on the train, for example, the trabajo bill and others. So
That's supposed to take away incentives.
Yeah.
That-
So investors wanted to understand, okay, what's really going to happen, right? So
And of course, there's the PEZA moratorium
there's a peso moratorium.
on new applications here in Metro Manila.
Yeah.
Why is that a problem? I mean, you can always go to provinces outside the
So
metro.
the model that works for the Philippines is always start in Metro Manila as a destination, as a where we as a showcase, and then we move to the provinces. That's always been our model from the time we started it early 2000 to this very moment. There are a few companies who go straight to the provinces, but so that's the kind of model, right? So the also problem there is the capabilities and the availability of talent, infrastructure, in other areas, it's not yet available, it's not yet ready. So it's very difficult for us to come in. We support, and I think that our industry always looking for places to expand, right? We've been in a lot of places in the Philippines, and we're always looking for other provinces we can expand. So, and also the challenges, there are people in the provinces who live in the provinces who want to work in Metro Manila, right? And then there are people in the provinces, even in Metro Manila, who want to work outside of the Philippines. So that's also another challenge for us.
So the BPO companies get Filipino labor, but not based in the Philippines.
No. We're getting Filipinos in the Philippines.
In the Philippines, and then they bring the Filipinos outside of the Philippines.
Some, not the BPO company that operates here, but our
elsewhere.
competition, right? If competitions in other countries, some of them will, I'll not mention the name of the country, but some of them will go to the Philippines, recruit, and then they bring them elsewhere.
Because it's higher pay.
Because it's higher pay. So Filipino will say normally, yeah, because it's higher pay. But what the Filipinos don't understand, yeah, it's higher pay, but your cost of living is also will go up. So net would probably be less than a few thousand.
Used to be the IT-BPO used to be the main driver for demand for property, and now they're saying it's being taken over by the POGOs, the offshore gaming. Leachu Properties, in fact, saying this year POGOs will overtake you as the number one, customer for this property here in the country. What do you say to that? I know that your fortune is closely tied to the property sector.
Yes, correct. And because of the moratorium, it stopped us from growing Metro Manila. So we need to go somewhere else. But the POGO is really expanding so fast, and they're getting spaces whatever they can get. And it's not just on the office spaces, but also residential spaces have been taken now by these workers of POGO. So that's what's really happening.
And that's okay.
No, of course. If you ask us, we want to grow. If we can take as much office space as we can, right? With, of course, hopefully with the right incentive for companies to attract, to come and invest.
Final question, digital, because the theme these days, and the theme of your conference would be digital transformation.
Yes.
Basically, CX, the customer
CX,
experience. The hiring process, has it changed
It is,
here
yes.
because of the technology?
Yeah. So we
And of course, the pace.
and the pay. Yeah. So no longer just we go to the mall or go a job fair, right? We use a lot of digital platform to recruit people.
But what about the requirements?
the requirements went up because not just about their ability to speak English, but their problem-solving skills, their ability on technical set, for that matter. So it also it changes from like 3-5 years ago.
Very fast.
Yeah,
And
very
of course, as we move up the value chain, the pay
course.
also goes up.
Yeah, and of course, yeah, right. The more complex work we do, the better for us, right? So more complex means higher billing rate for the client, which translate to better pay for our employees and benefits.
Okay, it's a really combination of consequences, and you've got the plus factors.
Yeah.
Exciting times ahead for the industry.
yes.
And you're at the forefront. Thank you very
Yes.
much, Jojo,
Thank you,
for
Minnie.
joining us
Yeah.
this morning.
That's